Y'all better turn y'all speakers down, bruh. I don't give no fuck, bruh. I don't care if the music loud. I'm not your daddy. Turn your speakers down. Y'all stop complaining like some hoes. What's wrong with y'all?
What's good, internet? Welcome back to Grim. Today we are kicking it a little bit differently, and guys, we're going to be talking about the rapper that does not stop giving. That's right, we are going to talk about Soulja Boy, the mansion-living, backwoods-sucking, knockoff game console scamming ringtone rapper we all know and love. You know, one of the first rappers to really blow up on the internet and embrace internet culture as a way to market. And honestly, before I get into this, I will be cracking jokes and of course memeing on this dude, but it really can't go without saying that he does make more money than me and you, and probably both of our families combined most likely. And he's honestly smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. He's a good businessman. There's a reason for his extended relevance and success, especially for an extended period of time. I mean, I would have never thought back, 10 years ago when he was actually really popping that I would still hear about him now today, but I am, and we're making a video about him, so there's that. With that being said, there have been some, let's say interesting things going down with him recently that I think need to be talked about because my man is making some really strange moves. The first thing I want to talk about, and the reason you probably clicked on this video, is there might actually be a fight with him and a YouTuber going down in the future. Not any small YouTuber either, by the way. That's right, you heard that correctly. This fool is trying to box Jake Paul. It all started out with a tweet from Jake at the beginning of the month where he just, mentioned Soulja Boy saying he wanted to box him. And I can't find the tweet anymore, but Soulja Boy replied saying like you would catch these hands or like you would die against me or something. I don't remember, but it was trying to be like super scary, but it just came off as kind of funny to me. But honestly, it's a really smart idea. I don't know what led Jake Paul to the decision of wanting to box Soulja Boy in specific, but honestly, it's a really smart idea. You guys know how big those boxing events have been before. I don't even really need to tell you. I mean, every time something like this happens with the Paul brothers, whether or not you like them or the event itself, it always ends up breaking the internet for a couple of days and breaks viewing records. And whatever venue they have sells out and they make millions. Now, of course, with a social media tyrant like Jake Paul fighting against a multi-millionaire rapper, that would bring in some crazy views. TMZ even caught up with Jake a couple days ago asking him if this was for real or not, because a lot of times people do tweet at each other but nothing really happens and it's just kind of like it's for retweets or engagement. But according to Jake, he says this.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fight him. I know it'll blow up, so.
So as you heard, this sounds like it's gonna actually happen at some point. I mean, they ask him specifically why, and he admits he doesn't like some of the things Soulja Boy's done, but he doesn't elaborate on it because he's trying to just, I guess, remain neutral. And those things that he's done that he was referring to, we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, but it's also mostly business related, which he does admit. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You guys see this headline and know exactly what both of them are in this for. Numbers and money. Lots and lots of money. And attention. So, in fact, Jake Paul is supposedly putting up $20 million on this fight if it were to happen. And that's some big money on the line for him to fight Soulja Boy. Now guys, here's my thing about this whole fight. I have seen Soulja Boy obviously, and he's not exactly in fighting shape. I know that's funny of me to say because I could literally get beaten up on by a 4th grader probably, but seriously, the dude is super skinny and spends all day hanging out in his mansion, not fighting and training in a gym. Because honestly, Jake has held his own in those previous fights, and while he's not a boxer by trade, he does have a pass of some high-level athleticism. I know a lot of you guys are probably shaking your head at what I just said, but these guys do put in the work since they know it's going to be big, obviously. They don't want to be looking like total jokes up on stage. Trust me though, if you had $20 million on the line and the possibility of a clip of you getting knocked out posted all over the internet until the end of time, you'd work hard for that too. So TMZ chased down Soulja Boy also and asked him what he thought about the fight, and he said this.
Man, Jake Paul can't beat me in no fight. You know that. Come on, man. You know that. You know what I'm saying? It's really gonna happen though.
It is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's for real. Yeah, I'll put up the whole record label advance. Let's go.
I love
Jake
that.
Paul, you a big.
So yeah, obviously he has some strong feelings about Jake Paul. Honestly, you guys might say the same thing about Jake, and most of the comments on this video are hilarious, I have to point out, because people agree with what I was saying earlier. He honestly has a chance of getting smoked, or you never know, he could go bulk mode like Wiz Khalifa did last year. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Wiz recently, but he's pretty built. Obviously, these rappers can afford insane personal trainers and get their personal chefs to make them the exact foods that they want. So if he really wants to go hard and get insane, I mean, he probably could. And to be honest, if he actually puts $20 million of his own money on the line, he most likely will. I mean, you are probably asking if Soulja Boy even has enough money to be putting down $20 million. And honestly, I'm not in any doubt that he does. Seriously, he's one of those guys that I just question, like, how are you so rich? Because he is insanely rich. I used to follow him on Vine after not hearing about him for a few years, and almost all of his videos would just be him flexing an insane amount of money in cash. The dude obviously must have some serious side hustles. I mean, he could still be making music, but nothing is coming close to his hype that he had a decade ago when it comes to that stuff. I mean, his songs in that ringtone rap era must still be getting plays from someone. I mean, I have to admit, I haven't unironically heard Crank That Soulja Boy in I don't know how long, but someone is out there bumping all his stuff because he's still getting insane residual checks from this music. And when it comes to other ways of making money, one that has gone viral recently, I'm sure that a lot of you guys have actually heard about, and that was his gaming console. Soulja Boy was sick of these huge companies having a monopoly on the gaming market, and he said, you know what, I'm on my Bill Gates, I'm gonna start the world's next best console. So he dropped the Soulja game at the end of the year, and to sum it up for those who didn't know, it's basically one big drop shipping scam. He basically just bought a ton of cheap Chinese knockoff consoles that came preloaded with like licensed games, and they were basically just glorified emulators, and resold them for an insane amount of money. When he sold them, of course, this was quickly rooted out as a scam, and he faced some serious legal problems from it. Then he said, you know what, I didn't have enough of this scam, so he dropped the Soulja game handheld, which is basically a knockoff PS Vita with the worst specs that I have ever seen. Seriously, this console would be cutting edge like 12 years ago maybe, but for now, it's sad that he even expected this to work. The handheld has a screen resolution of 480 by 272 pixels. Which is almost unplayable at this point. I mean, that's on par with a Nokia flip phone. Imagine dropping money on this thing and realizing it's basically a piece of trash that you can barely play modern games on since it's running on toaster specs. Oh yeah, and he's definitely still hustling and making money from some sketchy things. This was his recent big scandal, but he has a few more tricks up his sleeve, I am sure of it. Real quick guys, before we continue, make sure to subscribe and leave a like right now, as well as hit that bell to join our notification squad so you never miss a video when we upload. If you guys have subbed with notifications on, comment notifications on, and I'll reply to as many of you as I can saying thanks. So also, in more Soulja Boy news, since we are basically memeing on the boy at this point, I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this whole scandal with Gucci, but basically they released this, I don't know, sweater balaclava mask mix type thing. And I don't know about you guys, but like 99% of the stuff Gucci makes is pretty trash and just kind of too avant-garde for me. It's just not my thing, I guess. And they have always had pieces that make you go, okay, who thought to make this? But basically this thing was a knit sweater that extended up to a lower face mask, and this one was black with a bright red circle around the mouth that resembled a lot of the old racist depictions found in old comics and stuff like that. So of course this stirred up quite a controversy, as it's pretty tone deaf of them to even not realize that it could be seen that way, and as a result people are of course canceling or boycotting Gucci. One of the leaders of this crusade right now is Soulja Boy. I mean, he's announced that he's getting rid of all of his old Gucci and giving it away, and knowing Soulja Boy, like most of the pictures I've seen of him, he's rocking at least one or two pieces from them. He's a rapper, I mean, and that brand is of course huge and synonymous with rappers. Obviously you guys already know that. So this has to be over $1 million worth of gear, I guess. Here's the funniest part to me though, guys. This dude has the Gucci logo tattooed on his face, right in between his eyebrows, and apparently when TMZ approached him about it, he confirmed that he's been going through a couple of laser tattoo removal sessions for it so far, and is in the process of getting it removed. So guys, I guess the lesson here is maybe don't get a designer logo tattooed on your face, or honestly probably not anything on your face. You're not gonna make it as a SoundCloud rapper. Yeah, that's the best course of action in that case, I'd say. Sad for Soulja Boy, but at least he's not just throwing the clothes away and instead supposedly donating them. Oh my god, you guys, imagine how that Goodwill looks the day after he makes that donation. Some lucky people are just gonna find $1,000 t-shirts for like $3, and that's the come up of a lifetime. Honestly though, with how money hungry Soulja Boy is, I'm honestly surprised he doesn't do a drop with Grailed or something, considering he could seriously make some of his money back, and then some probably, as no matter the piece, anything Gucci sells so fast nowadays. I guess you can thank Lil Pump for that one. People buy one belt or wallet and think they're a rapper, so I guess guys, that about wraps it up for the recent news with Soulja Boy. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this possible fight that's going down, and I honestly think it's gonna happen because they're both gonna make a lot of money from it. I just hope it doesn't end like the rest of their fights where no real hits are landed and nobody gets rocked. I mean, I'm saying if at least one of them gets knocked out, that makes it all worth it, as that's at least exciting and funny. Hopefully none of you guys bought the Soulja game, and if you did, RIP your wallet and dignity. Seriously, enjoy your 3 pixels and 4 emulator games that could be downloaded on an old iPod Touch and probably have a better experience playing. Also, like I said earlier, if you want to follow in Soulja's steps, you gotta sell all your Gucci instantly. If you actually want another brand to flex, Prada just had a pretty good year and Dior is about to take over, trust me on that. Seriously, come back to this video in 6 months and see how right I was, I dare you. But okay, I'm going on a tangent now. If you guys enjoyed at any point, make sure to like and subscribe like I said, and I'll be sure to keep you updated on this if they actually do fight. I mean, I'm almost certain it is indeed going to happen, but I guess I'll see you guys again shortly for the next video. Until then, peace out.